It's good, everybody gon' smoke. Out here, the party's never end too soon. Happens every time I go and step up in the room. I do it like that, so let me see ya.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pierce Gaming News. Today I'm going to be talking about Gamestop and how their future is going to be going. Alright, so let's get into it here. So at a GameStop Expo last week, Costco's detailed their plans for the life and revenue past the sales of the physical video games, so like the physical discs of games that they are selling. Now, this doesn't mean that the company is going away from gaming, or the physical discs, I should say, because overall the sales of the DLC card sales and next gen, well, I guess current gen now, hardware of GameStop still has enough hardware to stock and move in all their 4,400 stores, or American stores, I should say. And then this article questioned this guy named Mike Hogan, and he said, one of the questions, frankly, the industry is going to have to address going forward. This is the value of a digital game less than the value of a physical game. Executive Vice President Mike Hogan told ours, if you can't trade in a digital game, which you can't at this point in time, but maybe you can in the future, there's less residual value. So after the interview, they decided that they want to ask Hogan about extending its successful buy, sell, and trade model for physical games and used digital content. Hogan stated this following the extending of the buy, sell, trade to used digital games. He quotes, "It would require a partnership between retailers and publishers, but absolutely it could go that way," Hogan said. "We're absolutely interested in pursuing that. There are lots of examples where people have taken digital content and made it transferable from the consumer to another. Think of World of Warcraft and its third-party item sales. There's no fundamental or technological reason why that couldn't happen on other platforms. If this consumer wants it and it provides value, then we believe it will happen over time. The consumer will speak for that." So now the question is there a war between physical and digital? Well, Jason Cochran, a GameStop senior vice president, said that there's potential to continue working with other vendor partners, publishers, and even developers on what that would mean to play in that space. How we continue to keep the value of digital content is tangible for our consumers, so they can continue to stay in the game, enjoy more gameplay, and actually buy more titles and more IP. Cochran said, "The possibilities are endless, and as to how we could leverage our buy, sell, trade model and continue to give our customers what they want." So then again, Hogan goes on to talk about how the physical and digital games are at war with each other. He quotes, "A lot of people would have said digital and physical are going to be at war with each other." Hogan said about that partnership, "We found a solution that said Steam's going to do what they're really great at, which is on the Valve side making games, and on the Steam side running this marketplace. We're going to do what we're really great at, which is discovery, retain, and customer acquisition. We provide that value to Steam." As of now, GameStop doesn't have a game publishing model beyond Conjugate, a web-based free gaming portal, but Hogan took the opportunity to hint at games eventually being published directly through the company as well. If GameStop is already going to represent the majority of the units of the game that gets published anyway, there are lots of games out there that the world won't see otherwise because they can't assemble the capital that's necessary to develop and publish a console game today. Hogan said that if you could bring the power of GameStop to that, we're not going to be game developers, but what we're really, really good at is the consumer side of it. Making the market for it, acquiring consumers, helping consumers find the right game at the right time, which in digital world is frankly becoming increasingly difficult. And last but not least, Microsoft's Xbox division offered ours the following statement. I quote, "When a game is digitally purchased, the license for that game is associated with the user that purchased it. There is currently no means for that user to relinquish the license and sell or give it to another user or inventory. We believe in digital distribution and Xbox and are proud to offer games a variety of ways to purchase and experience their games, but have nothing to share on the potential of trading and reselling DLC at this time." So, what do I think of all this? Well, Look, we are fine for this generation of gaming, referring to the PS4 and Xbox One, but who knows, there might not be another console release after these consoles because everything is moving to digital and streaming services, so the quote-unquote digital era could be closer than we might think. Personally, I'm not a big fan of digital downloads, but maybe some of you are, and that's great. But just me personally, I'm not a big fan. But if you're like me, I like to buy a game and play it for about a year or so, then trade it in for store credit or whatever, Craigslist, whatever have you. Trade-in values are still insanely low at GameStop, even after they supposedly raised the prices up 20%. But anyways, I like to buy the next game that interests me, if I'm sick of the one I'm playing, to try and get some money knocked off of the full retail price of a $60 game. Because that is just way too much money to shell out at one given time for a new game. Also, I think that GameStop should maybe run a trial of how well digital games move on their website. Or maybe whatever software they'd want to use, kind of like a Steam layout. Because if they don't test it out before we end the physical copies of games, they could run into a lot of trouble with that. I know they have a place on their website where you can buy PC games, but from all I've heard from that is it's just been a huge mess, and you gotta put a code into a software, and it just doesn't work. So I haven't heard anything good about their digital codes for PCs. Quite frankly, all my friends and whoever told me to stay away from that, because Steam pretty much has every game you need, and it's not really a hassle to get a game. Also, not sure how good GameStop is going to do with the used digital games, unless they are really cheap, because for one, they're not physical copies of the games, and two, they're digital. So, digital copies almost cost the company nothing to ship and, ship and distribute to the stores. So right there, the price should already be a good $10 less. But that's just my opinion on this. And lastly here, GameStop is a multi-billion-dollar company, so they aren't going away anytime soon. But they should just consider all the options and actually care about the consumer instead of just saying that, because, let's get real, they just want to cover themselves to act like they care about us, the consumer, when all they see are dollar signs instead of people, which is probably mostly how every franchise works, but it'd be nice to know that they actually really care about you. So the only thing I ask is they just do a little more research about this before they go and dive into an area where they've never gotten their feet wet. Alright guys, I hope you liked this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Alright guys, I'll see you guys around. Have a good day.